So I've got a question here. It says, what are the most common obstacles that Scrum Masters might face in an organization that switches to Scrum? Ooh, this is a goodie.
This is a good one. I mean, there's a billion of them that come to mind for me, but let me just try to start from the top. If a company does not really have the appetite to make the changes necessary to be more compatible with Scrum, they'll find that Scrum's benefits are limited. For example, I've got a company who, quality assurance reports up to the director of quality, who reports up to the chief quality manager or whatever. And then the engineers report to the chief engineering officer or whatever. And they are literally in silos, and their entire org structure is baked into this siloed way of working. Let's say they want to form a Scrum team. They're thinking, well, hey, I've got all these engineers. Why don't the engineers form a Scrum team? But there's nobody from quality on their team. There's nobody from the designers group on their team. And so they're just operating in isolation, like a silo. And then it makes sense to have a design Scrum team and then a QA Scrum team. And all they've really done was taken Waterfall, put new labels on it, and now they're running that same group of dependency chains in a row, basically the same way they did before, but they have new labels for it. And they're like, this is stupid. What a waste of time to go to 15-minute daily Scrums every day. Go figure. You're not really doing anything different except for adding more meetings. So org structure is often a very, very big one, especially for large companies.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Similar vein, it's the idea of old ways of thinking and just trying to apply new labels. The one that comes to mind for me is really how you break down the work. If you haven't experienced incremental product delivery before, if all you've ever known is we're going to spend a bunch of time analyzing stuff and then have a bunch of requirements, and then we're going to spend a bunch of time designing how to fulfill those requirements, and then later we're going to spend a bunch of time how to building the product that meets those designs, and you think in these big serial phased approach, it can just be a mental mind shift that is hard to do, to think I'm going to do a little bit of that very rapidly, all of those phases, and come up with something that's very small incremental improvement. But I've done all of those phases, and now it's, not only is it just designed and built and it's tested and it's releasable, it's ready to go. That's hard to conceptualize if you haven't experienced it. So, if I'm kind of reading behind the question of how to work through these obstacles, I think you got to find small examples, either just contrived ones that you use as a teaching device or a real one in your product, and build some incremental improvements and help people see the benefit and the flexibility that comes with that.
I've got something to add to this too. I'm going to say the biggest obstacle that Scrum Masters face in organizations is time. Organizations, managers, leadership, CEOs, the bulk of them for generations now have been driven with the idea that we've got one calendar year, we've got to work with this budget, this amount of money, and it's all about produce. So how much output can get done within 12 months, and then we're checked on a quarterly basis. And so this leaks all the way down to teams that have been told, tag, you're it, you're doing Scrum now, welcome to the Agile party. And nothing has changed by way of the organizational mindset. It is still time-driven, deadline-driven, roadmap-driven, and people are wondering why there's a inherent friction between teams that have learned how to use the Scrum framework and saying, but our organization doesn't get it. So some of the biggest obstacles, in my opinion, are those organizational constructs that are embedded into the training, the teaching, and how those organizations were set up to begin with. But most of them have something to do with clock and deadlines. So that's what I'm going to say is your biggest obstacle, perhaps.
Yeah, even deadlines over goals. Like, get all that stuff done by a date. Don't worry about what the problem is you're solving. If that's where you're stuck, limited results.
Yep.
Did you know we teach professional Scrum courses? If not, check the links in the description for information about how you can join one of our professional Scrum courses and hang out with us.
All right, you know the drill. This is YouTube after all, so this is where I ask you to click the thumbs up, click the subscribe button, hit the bell, or whatever else YouTube's come up with these days for you to get our videos delivered to you. Or even better, in our description below, there's a link where you can get these videos delivered straight to your inbox.